Hello, hello. Welcome to today's live conversation with some of our speakers from the Women Thrive Summit. Today, we are interviewing Marie Ferguson. Hi, Marie. How are you?
Hi, Ray. Really good, thank you. I'm so excited to be in this space with you and chatting with everybody about what's coming up. There's so much to be excited about.
Yes, there is. So if you are joining us live right now, make sure you leave a comment below. Let me know where you're watching this from. Or if you're watching this on replay, put hashtag replay and let me know where in the world you are. I am based in Spain, and my guest Marie is also, she's actually based in Australia. So we're coming from two different time zones. She is already ahead of time. She's on Tuesday evening, and I'm here on Tuesday morning. Today, we're going to be talking about claiming your crown of wisdom. So, how to embrace your divine feminine energy for leadership. And my guest today is Marie Ferguson, who is feminine embodiment coach, founder of the Menarche project, and a master educator. So she's all about empowering women to tap into their feminine leadership and really shine bright as that they can, bringing all these beautiful gifts into this world. She's a powerful speaker, and she's one of our VIP speakers at the Women Thrive Summit that's happening in March. So I'm excited for you all who are watching this to get a little preview and glimpse of what Marie Ferguson is all about, and get to know her. So, Marie, would you care to introduce yourself to our audience today?
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. And what a beautiful introduction. As Ray said, I'm a feminine embodiment coach. I'm also an advanced breathwork facilitator, and I have a master's in education specializing in the arts. So a lot of my past and my history has been, delving into working with young people and teenagers in the education industry, and something that threw me down this path of, really stepping back into understanding my body wisdom and coming back to self. Um, Stemmed from, I suppose, trauma that happened, over the last, 2.5 years ago, where I experienced miscarriage. And, being a dance drama teacher, just fully in my body, working with young people, this experience really shifted my whole existence of how I was managing my health, my well-being, my mental state, how I was managing my workload. I went into burnout and anxiety, and I lost myself along the way and didn't know who I was. And so coming back to my body and questioning these deep questions of, like, who am I really? Am I just a mum? Am I just a teacher? Like, where was Marie in all of that? And that journey took me down this path of understanding more about my feminine energy that I had pushed aside because I was heavily in my masculine, and learning to reharmonize that and integrate and balance that in a more holistic way.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's not an easy thing, one, to go through, and two, to share it with the world. And I know there are other women who perhaps experience or have experienced this situation where they have miscarried, and it's deeply personal and touching. What kind of words, what would you say to someone who have gone through it or finding it really difficult to deal with that?
Hmm. You're not alone. And when I was going through this experience, it's still a very taboo subject. And working with a lot of girls and young people in my industry, even talking about periods and our cycles and womanhood and what's involved even in motherhood journey, I feel there are sometimes things that aren't spoken about, and I
Mm,
felt so alone. And I knew, like, the statistics are 3 in 4 women, I believe, go through miscarriage,
mm,
and it's a lot. It's really something that I think our families, our society doesn't really delve into as openly as we should. And you're not alone. And
mm,
I just keep coming back to the fact that I did have my amazing husband there with me, who held me in this time, But part of me was like, you don't really understand what this feels like. And so that part of yearning for women that could feel this depth of grief and despair and that darkness, like, and being able to help me get out of that phase was something really powerful. And it came back to just really powerful sisterhood and connection with women again that could hold me in that.
Mm. What helped you go through that and find your own, as we say, crown of wisdom?
Yeah. I did seek so many different alternatives to, I suppose, question why. I did see an amazing psychologist when I was, going through this to understand my emotional state, to start to understand my nervous system, and also amazing women that had gone through it, that had opened up and shared their journeys and their stories. And I also, invested for the first time in my life in mentorship, in women that, they weren't mothers, interestingly, but they had something really powerful and beautiful that I felt connected to in regards to embodiment and understanding that feminine energy, and investing in feminine mentors that could help me unpack those narratives and the feelings and the emotional state that I was experiencing, knowing what was, I suppose, normal and okay to feel, and not putting myself down, and really listening back deep into my body. And I learned a lot about our energy cycles. I learned a lot about reframing my relationship with my womb space and listening to the cycles of my body, like the cycles of nature, because we as women are cyclical beings. We are tied in with the ebbs and flows of nature. And I'd forgotten that. So these amazing women helped me remember and change my lens.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that you shared it because I think when we go through something and we share with community and other people and we find a safe space, we can really thrive and grow through these experiences because, nothing can stop us really if we have that support around us, and that's how we build a resilience. Tell me more about this notion of claiming your crown of wisdom. What does that mean?
Yeah, claiming our crown of wisdom. I spoke about body wisdom just before, and really listening to what my body was telling me, whether it's my emotions and my feelings, noticing the subtleties and the nudges, noticing the stories. And so knowing that our womb space and our yonis, our vaginas, these beautiful portals that bring life, they have this really ancient wisdom that we can tap into. And that feminine energy that is linked with this creative sexual life force energy, and that magnetism in understanding the energetics of the feminine, is something that I loved helping my clients with when they come through to work with me, and want to reignite that spark and step into owning their sovereign energy, because we're all born for greatness. And when, God doesn't make mistakes, God makes, magnificent beings and masterpieces. And this claiming our crown, like stepping away from that princess mentality, and becoming the queens and owning our lives, was something that I kind of, not kind of, I really stepped into and fully embraced in order to shift the parts of myself that I didn't want anymore. I didn't want to feel this way, and I didn't want to come home tied to my husband. I didn't want to just, be the mum that was there for a little bit, or just a workaholic. I didn't want to just give parts of myself. I wanted to fully own and be present, that queens have in their lives. And that came back to really understanding my body, that feminine energy that then enhanced my masculine energy, and really brought that more vibrant, magnetic, part of myself online. And a lot of that came back to safety, as you mentioned before, Ray, bringing that safety back into my body, into
Mm,
owning all of me.
yeah. Yeah. I love that. It's beautiful when we step into that power and you say, like, step into your queen energy, and you don't have to shy away. You don't have to dim your light. You don't have to question yourself. Trust. I think trust and embody everything that you are. And this is what the Women Thrive Summit is really about empowering women to step into their power, step into their purpose, become unapologetic, shine their light. And I encourage every woman when they come into our space, sometimes we can get overshadowed by other people in a space and feel like, oh, am I good enough? Right?
Mm.
How can women claim their birthright space in this world? How can we claim our voice back? Because I know a lot of times our confidence in our voice tied into a trauma or experience to stay quiet, to stay
Yeah.
small, to stay insignificant. They'll come out of the frames that have been put in around you. How can we claim our voice?
Yeah. That's a very big question. And for me, it started with self-love. I would look in the mirror, like I know what it's like to feel small. Like my mom's Filipino, the Asian culture is growing up half, Asian, half Australian, and girls were treated differently. Girls are treated differently to boys in that culture. And so I had to be small, and it
Yeah.
was a lot of deep self-love pieces in this process of redefining my identity and that sovereign claim of who I am. And a lot of it started with, affirmations, looking myself in the mirror and just telling myself I love you. I've got a
Mm,
daughter who's almost 8 now, and I would tell her I love her. And I wanted her to look in the mirror and just fully own, like, loving herself. And the young women that I would work with, teenagers, where I see the low confidence, I see the low self-esteem, and these narratives that start at a younger age, that it's like, what if we broke that earlier? How can we bring that self-love and that confidence back earlier, so then our young women that are the leaders, that are the mothers, that are the future, powerhouses of the world, that lead and support hand in hand our divine men as well. Like, how do we do that more? And a lot of that for me came back to, well, if I can't own loving all of my body, like, I would look in the mirror and be ashamed of my cycle. I would look in the mirror and look at myself and go, oh, and I would notice these narratives.
yeah.
So a lot of it was little baby steps of, like, loving all of my wrinkles because that's my wisdom, loving all of my curves and every part of me, and, like, actually really loving that part that
Yeah.
maybe I felt resistance in, and leaning into that more. So I did a lot of mirror work as well in my body, through my eyes, and just that embodiment piece that you were saying, like, allowing that to then sink in and be part of just that essence that we're born, and it doesn't have to be hard, it gets to be easy. But it was hard to start with because I was had to pull away all of those stories and all of those pieces that were like, I
Yep.
just had to shift that away.
I think, a lot of times I have to work through the deconditioning and things that have been said to us, the experiences that we had, trauma that we've been through. Because I feel like if you don't have that self-love, you struggle every day. That's
Mm.
where the imposter syndrome comes from. This is where the insecurities and even self-sabotage comes to life when we don't love ourselves. But it's not that we don't love ourselves, it's the conditioning, it's the
Mm.
experiences and the trauma that's playing a big part. In your experience working with clients and working with, in this arena, how important is it to to work through the trauma and start to really lean into our own divine feminine, but also the self love part that you've just spoken.
Mm.
That's how life changing that is.
It is life changing, and when you start to become aware of these parts of ourselves that are not our true essence, because it's society's stories, or our maybe our parents, or maybe it's something that happened to us as a child, and to really debunk and look at the feeling behind that, and the energy behind feeling unworthy, feeling alone, not good enough, you
Yeah.
know no matter if you're man or woman, these feelings of alone, not good enough, unworthiness, they stem from our inner child. They stem from those early foundational pieces from
Mm.
childhood to teenagehood that frame our sense of safety in who we are, in our bodies, in the decisions we make, our behaviors, and all of this comes back to energy. And it's so important, if you are desiring to shift and transform and to go
Mm.
deep. So there's so many modalities.
Yeah. I feel like, when I've done this work, because it wasn't actually something that I could consciously put my finger on. I didn't know what it was. And it was trauma from my own childhood that was playing a big part in self sabotage and imposter syndrome and um, self worth. And I think the self worth part is a huge one. Unless you've really been nurtured that way from childhood, I think the self worth part, I meet a lot of people that struggle with that. But the moment when I started to work on that part, it's changed the game. And I mean, it's changed the game significantly and quickly.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. And all of a sudden, I was able to step into my leadership. I think today, as we talk about the feminine leadership and we talk about all these aspects of claiming your crown, being empowered, I could be the testimony of this whole experience, working through the trauma, working through some of these modalities that you've spoken about, and then allowing myself to step into my true leadership. Because I feel like if the underlining narrative is that I'm not good enough or I'm not able to do this, or we're going through that self-sabotage, you won't be able to step into that next level leadership.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, on the feminine leadership, and how can we empower ourselves to play that role? Because it's a pivotal role that each and every one of us can play in the society, but only if we remove those self barriers within it.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And a part of me before, a year ago, I would have been like, I'm happy where I am. I'm still leading in my community and doing this. And when I dive deeper into the ocean of my heart and the self and identity and my soul work,
Yeah.
the purpose of why I'm here, there was something that just naturally drew me to tapping into that intuitive part of ourselves that are the divine leader, that is the queen archetype, that is the goddess self. And a lot of the work I do is look at these archetypes as well. You mentioned these roles and characters. you know Past me would have been like, I have to be the mum in this situation, I have to be the teacher, I have to. But now, in doing this work, it's like I get to be all of that. And I get to play. And I get to be the CEO of my business. I get to step into, being the nurturing, caring, mother in this side that's really soft. And the softness is strength. And when we realize that feminine essence of how beautiful that softness is in the chaos and the beauty and the emotional state of who we are as feminine beings, that's where the leadership comes through. And I've even noticed in my own intimate relationships with my husband, when I've risen into claiming that part, my husband is also risen to hold me in that. And what I see We've known each other for 28 years since we were in primary school. We've been together for, um, I don't know, 18 years and married this year for 14 years. And we are so different people than who we were when we first met. And claiming that part of myself, which is so rooted in my body, in my soul work, in connecting to that divine feminine energy and my masculine and my warrior and that aligned action that I now get to take. This is where these parts of the energies, like when we think about yin and yang, this world is a world of duality. And when we come to grips and feel all the richness of our emotions, the richness of our trauma, the parts of ourselves that felt so lost, if we can know what that feels like and what humanity feels like, then of course the other side of claiming our leadership and being the guides and the people that help humanity, like I've got goosebumps now as I'm feeling this, because this is like soul speaking, and that just comes online. And I want young people to talk this way. I want women to speak this way. I want, partners and communities to just come from this place. And we as women, we get to help lead that.
Oh, oh, Marie, I love when you speak, you light up and it just pops because it's just your passion and it comes from the experience. And I think the reason why you're also so passionate because you've been on the other side, right? You've been through the struggle and the challenges and not being this way for some time to then be able to step into it and allow yourself, give yourself the permission to be where you are. And I love that you so openly and beautifully touched on your relationship, how being in your divine feminine and your leadership, claiming your crown, has allowed you to build more solid and better relationships and step into your position beyond just, in your community or your work, but also in your family settings. I think that we need so much more of that, so much more of that, because I think I see women who play a big role in their corporate careers and they achieve a lot. But for some reason, when we go home and we close the doors to the external world, we succumb to being the people pleaser or being suppressed by others, whether it's in our family, whether it's in our own intimate relationships, not claiming our crown, not stepping into our sovereignty and speaking our truth because of different things like trauma or external environment that try to shut us down. I think this is why we need to be speaking about this more, about how can we empower ourselves before we can empower others.
Yeah. Yeah, so powerful. And I've loved being on this platform to even grow in the speaker capacity. There's a lot of, I've spoken in many different spaces, from big assemblies, and created amazing, beautiful musicals and things for communities. But in that heart-led yearning for what else is there, it's directed me down a path where that leadership has now cracked open even more. And it can look, like you said, different for many people. And there are still parts of me that I noticed, like the imposter syndrome and the people pleaser. And I notice, and I'm like, okay, put yourself back there. I'm going to choose to lean in, because I'm a Virgo as well. I'm going to lean into the perfectionist aspect, because when I am passionate about something, I want to do a good job at it. And I'm going to embrace that part. I'm not going to put that down like I used to. I'm going to embrace that ambitious side of me. I'm going to embrace that creative part. And this is where we get to dance, right? We get to dance with all of it. And I know we've spoken before about dancing, and it's a beautiful metaphor. We get to dance with life.
You're nearly making me cry, Marie. And I tell you why, because I get to witness that in you. And we've been on this speaker journey for more than 6 months now. And I get to witness your growth. I get to witness your unapologetic self, embracing your beautiful gift and your voice and stepping into it. And by doing so, transforming other people's lives and speaking your truth. And now, you've joined us on the summit to be a speaker on our summit. And very quickly you started to initiate things within the community. You started to talk about, hey, how can we do some collaborations? And you started to collaborate with other speakers and give them platform. But more so, you're stepping into your own leadership now, and you started to organize our Australia event, our Thrive Talks in Australia, happening 2nd of March. We can already announce that.
Ah, so exciting. So exciting. And I feel when we step into that leadership and we align and feel the vision of other people, like, the beautiful vision that you have to empower women and bring that leadership through, and having that safety in your mentorship and leadership, where it was like, oh, I'm just going to share this idea with Ray and go, well, what if this happened? And now look, it is in here in fruition, and it's going to come closer than we think. And, your vision for Thrive Talks as part of this, to really, have those spaces for the speakers to create a signature talk, has been such a beautiful opening here in Australia, because there is amazing women. And if you're listening in, ladies, come and join the Women Thrive team. It's such a beautiful community. And come along to our event as well, because you get to be in the space and feel the magnetism and the power of these amazing women that are coming together. We've got a beautiful woman flying from New Zealand as well. And this is going to be so powerful. And there's something magical, about having an audience and being live with people that is just on another level. And I know, Ray, you had your initial launch in Valencia, and that feeling of seeing a project come through. Like, I really feel that beautiful mission and that purpose, and that's why I've jumped on board, because it aligns with me too. And I love just helping people, and I love, sharing that leadership and empowering others. So, I know this is a beautiful segue to invite people along, but that's how we grow.
Yes, as much as it is bringing awareness to the platform and the summit that we have poured in our heart and soul into it, it's also, really spotlighting about, for me, these conversations is about spotlighting your voice, and the more opportunities we have to speak our truth. And that's the reason why I built this platform, so women like yourself who are doing amazing things can step into your power, into your purpose, share your message with the world. And with saying that, I want you to share this live conversation. Share this live conversation with your audience right now, because I believe what we've covered today, you don't know who really needs to hear this right now. And I encourage you to leave a comment, share this conversation, because somebody needs to hear this. And so, if you are feeling inspired, Marie Ferguson is our speaker at the Women Thrive Summit, and we are doing interview series with our upcoming speakers. We are hosting a Women Thrive Summit, which is happening March. So our annual women empowerment event is every year, which happens third week of March, and this year is 18th to the 22nd of March. Save your spot at Women Thrive Summit. Marie Ferguson will be talking about claiming your crown of wisdom, embracing your divine feminine leadership, which what you've heard today just barely scratches the surface of what Marie will be covering in her talk. And I think you are going to love this conversation, and also meeting other women. There are so many opportunities for you to network live. Yes, it is virtual, so that means you can join from anywhere in the world, but also it's happening live, so that means you can have those beautiful live conversations. So make sure you head over to womenthrivesummit.com, register for your spot, and make sure you save your spot to Marie's talk. And like we just mentioned, there is a live in-person event happening in Australia. So if you happen to be somewhere down under, somewhere in Australia, we're hosting our first Thrive Talks, which is the future of TEDx stages for women, happening 2nd of March, which is a Saturday in Brisbane. So if you are near and around Brisbane, okay, you can get yourself there. It is going to be an absolutely beautiful in-person event. Marie has been the leader of this project organizing. And Marie, would you like to say a few words about this particular event, because you have had such a beautiful vision for this event?
Oh, thank you. If you are in Queensland and you want to come along, we will have an amazing lineup of speakers, a great way to connect with amazing women and leaders from a variety of different backgrounds. Sometimes when we get into a space, it just sparks that little piece of, I suppose, remembrance or inspiration or something that you have been called there for, and you won't know until you come along. And it'll be that beautiful aha moment where you're like, I'm so glad I came. I'm so glad I met this person. I was meant to be here. And I look forward to seeing many, many new faces there. And yeah, I'm excited to also tune in for the summit and share more of my amazing gifts with you and things like that. So come along and let's connect and collaborate and get to know each other.
Yeah, amazing. And of course, if you're feeling inspired right now, connect with Marie. She's on different social media channels. I'll find out a little bit in just a moment how you can connect with Marie. But this is the power of connections and coming together and networking. And I do believe that whoever is meant to be in that room, whether virtually for Marie's talk at the summit, if you're not in Australia, and if you are in Australia and not too far from Queensland, get in touch with Marie and grab yourself a physical ticket to attend this event. There's going to be some amazing women. Honestly, it's life changing, and I've seen women's lives change. And when I first heard Marie speak on our showcase, which next one happening this Thursday, I was just blown away. I was like, oh my God, like you're a complete channel. You channel this divine message. And when we get to hear you speak, it truly comes from your heart and soul. And this is where deep transformation starts to happen. So I'm really, really grateful for your support, your service, you being here, you stepping into your leadership, sharing your message, because I do truly believe that what you've got to share is going to be life changing. And I know these things get thrown around a lot, leadership and feminine energy and all of those things. But I've had many conversations with you, and I believe what you share comes from a deep embodied place. And when someone speaks from their own conviction, this is when transformation happens. And that's what I witnessed within you, Marie. And I'm just
Mm.
super grateful for your message and stepping into your leadership.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I
Bless.
appreciate it. How can people connect with you? Because I know there's going to be some people like watching this right now. I need me some Marie in my life.
Yeah, fabulous. Well, you can connect with me on Facebook as Marie Ferguson, Marie. My name is here. I'm also on Instagram under Marie_Ann_Ferguson. And I also have a beautiful free mini course as well to connect with me. Check out www.menarche, project.com, and we can connect that way, and I can share some beautiful free resources with you.
Beautiful. I'm just going to quickly find your link and make sure we spotlight that for anyone really interested to make that connection with you. Yeah, I just dropped it in the comments, and I see someone on LinkedIn saying, "So excited for another Women Thrive Summit! It's truly an amazing experience." Kylie was saying earlier, your courage and resilience is so inspiring, Marie. And I totally agree, Kylie. It's been a pleasure having you. Kay said, you have such a beautiful heart, Marie. Thanks for speaking to this and spreading the powerful message. How does it make you feel, Marie, when you see those beautiful comments and messages coming through for you?
Oh, I've just got goosebumps. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. It's very affirming. And yeah, I'm glad you feel that, because I feel like that's the authentic part of when we can express from that place, people feel that energy and then they
Mm.
want to connect with you. And that's where that true embodied piece that you were saying and that authenticity, is really felt. And so I look forward to connecting with more amazing people.
Yeah. Make sure you do that. And the website that Marie just mentioned is there, menarcheproject.com. Go ahead, check out a free course or program. Get in touch. If you feel inspired right now, get in touch, Marie, and have that conversation. Book yourself in for a call, or just stalk her out on social media channels. So that's another way of doing it. Ladies, thank you so much for watching. Marie, really honored to have you on our platform. For all of you watching, make sure you share this live and save yourself a spot at womentthrivesummit.com. Attend the event. It's going to be life changing. It's a 1 week event. We have more than 50 amazing speakers. The whole theme of the event is women empowerment, and we talk about many things, including the feminine energy, healing, business, personal development, confidence, leadership, marketing, visibility, finance. And I really mean empowerment in every sense of the word, to support you on this growth of development, so you can step into that bigger, better, greater version of yourself and become a leader in your own community, in your family, in your life, and in your business endeavors. I think it's going to be life changing. You don't have to be a business owner to attend this event, and there are free tickets. So you really don't have any excuse other than dedicating some time for it between March 18th to the 22nd. So make sure you do that. Marie, thank you so much. We run way over time, but that's what happens when we have too much fun on these lives.
Thank you, Ray. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. And we hope to see you there at the summit in March. Take care for now. Bye bye.